So before we begin, I just want to get on the camera that you give me consent to give you the interview and to record you.
Sure.
Yes?
You want me to say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yes. Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Shivani Sharma and I'm the lead dance instructor and studio director for the Rajarani Lakshmi Kala Sangam Institute of Dance located in Central Florida. And today I'm here in Trinidad with the legendary Dr. Rajkumar Krishna Prasad, who is a very well-known and renowned Bharatanatyam dancer. So today we're here to learn more about him. So first of all, I want to start off with you introducing yourself, telling where you teach, whatever you did, whatever you want to say. You go ahead. Mm-hmm.
My name is Dr. Rajkumar Krishna Prasad. This interview is done at my home in 41 Jasmine Avenue, Edinburgh Gardens, Chaguanas, Trinidad, West Indies. And I would like to certify and approve that this interview was done with my approval and consent. So I agreed to do this interview this morning, today, the last day in the year 2025, which we call Olea's Day in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. So before we start about getting into the dance, I just want to know more about you as a person because that's also very important, right? So tell me about you, your life, how you grew up.
Oh, all right. I thought we was going to go into dance. All
I
right.
want to know about you too.
All right. Like I said, my name is Rajkumar Krishna Prasad. I am 84 years old. Presently, I'm living in central Trinidad, which is called Chaguanas. Originally, I'm from South Trinidad, St. Patrick East. I had always liked Indian dancing very, very much. In those days, 75 years ago or more, we had no schools, no teachers. So the only thing you could, the nearest to Indian dance was listening to music. And I was encouraged to do Indian dancing by listening to Indian music on our radio. And the music, of course, came from India. And many, many years ago, 75 years ago, whenever there's an Indian wedding in Trinidad, or Hindu wedding, I should say, we would have an orchestra playing music the night before the wedding, which is what we call the Bhatwan night or the farewell night. And when that orchestra starts playing music, they would accompany the singers. And when the music starts, something about the music, I used to go on the stage and start dancing. I don't know what I was doing, but I know I was moving, and I would be moving my neck and moving my hand and, all this without no teacher, no training, no mentor, nothing at all. It just came to me very natural. And that is how it started with me. And I started dancing all over the country under the name of Dancer Boy. Because anyway, there's music, and if I'm there, the audience will say, "Come on, Dancer Boy, give us a dance." And being young, and when you're young and a teenager, you get on that stage and you start dancing. And that's how it started with me. But I'd always loved it. When I was very young, growing up, I wanted to be a dancer. And that was strange coming from me, and people hear you say you want to be a dancer, because the word dance and dancing in those days didn't mean anything at all. I had an option of wanting to be a dancer or to be an architect. I wanted to design buildings from a little boy. But because of coming from a very humble background, and to be an architect, you have to go away and study. And that, of course, is a very costly thing, which I couldn't afford at that time. So I end up with the dance. And by dancing all over the country, I became very famous, locally, very famous. Dancing on the television, dancing in functions. What I was doing, God alone knows. I was just moving to movements, creating my own movements with my hands and my neck. Simply, I will just do things that it just come to me. You do your hand, and then I will do this, then I will do this, and I will move my neck and just do these things and just do things that I have never seen anybody doing it. Nothing. And I will just do it. And no encouragement. People just want you to dance for entertainment value. And after you finish, that was it. And I started dancing all over the country, Trinidad and Tobago. I became very, very famous, television, radio, publicly. And then as the years went by, I was very lucky. I got a scholarship from the Indian government, the ICCR. And that scholarship was in 1965. And the man responsible for that scholarship is the late Kamaluddin Mohammed, who was then a senior minister in the government at that time. He is passed away now. He was a man very involved in Indian art and culture. He encouraged a lot of people in the pronunciation of the Hindi language. He always had a dholak and a harmonium in his house because he loved it. And Mohammed, they were the people who had the very first Indian program on radio in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is how it started with me. And I got the scholarship. But before I got the scholarship, I got married. I am married now as we speak today, over 63 years. I have my wife, 3 children, and 4 grandchildren. 1 daughter, 2 sons. My daughter is a retired principal. My first grandchild is an aerospace engineer in NASA. And my other 2, they are neurosurgeon. So when you think about coming from a humble beginning to where your children have achieved, you ask yourself, what is life all about? Because each generation should be better and better and better. So they were all better than me. But I built the foundation because you cannot have high without low. We speak about the beautiful buildings all over the world. Nobody speaks about the foundation because they don't see it. So it's the same thing with dance. Nobody knows the sacrifice that you are making to achieve what you have achieved. But when they want you to dance, they just want you to perform, and they think that was it as easy as that, not knowing your training, your sacrifices you make, and that sort of thing. So on that, when I went to India, I left my wife, of course, because I got a scholarship. But my wife, when I left, she was working with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. She was the executive secretary, Public Utilities Commission, when I left. And I left 2 little children, girl and a boy. So I wasn't worried too much because she was working. I had my own home and all of that, so we didn't have to worry. And then in India, the government of India paid all the bills. School fees and the book fees and the hostel and all. And in India, I studied in a place called Kalakshetra, which is in Madras, Adyar Madras 41, under the direction of the late Rukmini Devi Arundel, which today I think it's a privilege to meet this lady, to study under this lady, and get her guidance, because after all, you get to realize she is the person responsible for Bharatanatyam going in the public, because it was never a public dance. It was in the temples with the Devadasis in the temples, done only in the temple. And that's how it started. So I think I was privileged and honored to meet her, see her, study with her, which you have seen the photograph. And I think that alone is a privilege. for me that because there's nobody in this part of the world who met that lady, studied under her, but the people who went to study after me. And then it started like that. And when I came back to Trinidad, immediately I started to teach because I thought it was the only way you can do justice to the scholarship awarded to you. So I should impart the knowledge. And I started teaching. And everybody, when it was published and announced the classes, I think people were more curious to see who I look like and who I am, because there's nothing like Indian dance in Trinidad. There was nothing, no school, nobody dancing. It's all new. The only time you will see some Indian dance is in the Indian movies, something. But at those days, it didn't mean anything to anybody. Then I started performing all over the country. So they see me dancing. And a lot of people didn't believe I was from Trinidad because in those days I was very young. And I didn't know, but I was told that I was a very, very handsome fella. I didn't know. So I was dancing all over, and more people would be curious just to see me and hear me speak, and they couldn't believe. They thought I was from India, living in Trinidad and stuff. So that had to take some time to educate the people and let them know I'm a local boy. So that had a little thing to do with it, and I started teaching. I had classes in North Trinidad and South Trinidad, and a lot of students. Now that was an experience to come from a classical training to teach people who have no training, don't know what it looked like, no idea at all what is classical dance. Kathak, Kathakali, Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam, they don't know. So I am responsible. I have created this consciousness and awareness in Trinidad and Tobago for the appreciation of Indian dance. You get that? Yeah. And as a result of that, I perform personally all over. And then because of that training and being the only one at the time in Trinidad, I was privileged to travel, perform, and represented Trinidad and Tobago in many parts of the world. For example, America, Canada, Switzerland, Germany, Singapore, Japan, England, where I performed for the late Queen Elizabeth II in the Royal Albert Hall in London, and all over the Caribbean, Brazil, and so many other countries. That as a result of that kind of traveling, today as I speak, I don't really care to travel anymore. I don't really care to see an aeroplane or go to the airport because I've done a lot of traveling. And then, well, I was always working. Because when I got the scholarship, I had to take leave from where I was working. I was working with the government of Trinidad and Tobago in the civil aviation department. So I worked with the government for nearly 40 years. Well, of course, I am now retired. I'm retired over 20 years or more. So I'm enjoying my retirement. But I have been teaching for over 50 years. And then I stopped the teaching because I realized the generation, they wasn't really interested in learning. They were interested in learning a dance to go and perform. And that makes a difference. They wasn't prepared to take that sacrifice and that training and sacrifice. That basic which you must go through. If you build a house, you must have a foundation. They wanted to learn to dance in 2 or 3 sessions so they could go and perform publicly, so they would get their name called. And we had a program in Trinidad called Mastana Bahar. They wanted to go on that program. And then I realized that it's not good. I don't fear. How can I teach you a dance and you have no basics? I could just take some movements, put it together and teach you a little dance. But then what happens after that? Because nobody in the world cannot read or write if they don't know the alphabet. And that's where basic training comes in. Can't go wrong. When nobody in this world, not even God, can read or write if you don't know the alphabet. You can't build a house on sand. You cannot have high without low. So basic training. But today, I suppose you have some more questions coming up.
Oh, I do, but you were talking, so I just give you the chance to, so yeah.
What is happening today in Trinidad and Tobago and America and a few places in the world, the Bollywood is now taking over the whole of America, Canada, the Caribbean, Bollywood dancing. But the time has come for people to know that the Bollywood is an industry, the film industry. The film is an industry. And the film dancers or Bollywood dancers is in no way at all a representation of anything Indian or Oriental. In fact, it is an attempt to imitate Europe and America and Michael Jackson movement and that sort of thing. This is what the film industry is doing. And now they're modernizing this thing, and they look at the costume and movements. It's everything imitating America. So if you want to see Indian dance, you don't look at Bollywood. You have to go and be trained to do Indian dance. There are 8 different styles. You don't see those styles there. But the Bollywood dancers are trained. Because when you look at the choreography with the group and the movements and the extension and movements and lines and expressions, they have to be trained to do that. And this is what is happening in Trinidad. 99% of the dancers in Trinidad are imitating the film industry. And they are doing very, very well, because if they have the ability and the potential to imitate the film and do that so good, can you imagine what would happen if they were to take some basic training? They would be better presenters. Because I suppose you could edit. I could go on talking non-stop, because of experience.
Yeah, you answered most
And
of
I don't feel. You realize I'm not feeling the words on it.
Yeah.
I can talk from now until next year at the same time, and I could flow with very few people can do. And you realize I'm not stammering and well, right, okay. No, I could just flow with it. Because it comes from the heart. What I'm saying comes from the heart. What are some of the questions?
So you were mentioning how a lot of people just want to come to you and learn dance and
to go
just
to perform.
So I want you to talk a little bit about the foundation of Bharatanatyam. Like, what kind of adibus should you know, the basic adibus, any shlokams that you should know, the hastas,
This is a lovely question. In all dances, you must do the basics. You must do the basics. And different teacher will have different style. Different states will have different style. You go to Madras, you get a different style. And you will get that when you get there. Only when you get there, will tell you. But in your case, I think you want to get a PhD in that. So you have to go and do some serious researching, serious documentation, serious into it. And that cannot be done in 1 or 2 years. So you see, because different states will have their style.
So tell according to your style, what did you learn? How was your foundation?
My foundation was a classic foundation because they realized I'm from the Western world, number one. When they look at me, they couldn't believe I'm from the outside. They thought I was Pakka Indian. And when they asked, what is your name? And I said, Rajkumar. Ayyo, Rajkumar, Indian, Pakka Indian. Yeah. So then you have to go through all these, that is an experience by themselves. And that is why in discussion I was telling you, if you were to get some basic training, basics, when you go to India, it will make it much easier for you. Much more easier.
So like when you went to India and they saw you, so like how did they go about teaching you?
All right. That was the experience of going to India, because when I arrived in India, I wanted to come back home the same day. I arrived in the night in Madras. And when you land in Madras, it's people.
More people than here?
This is joke. This is Trinidad don't have people. One village in Madras have more people than Trinidad and Tobago. One little village. People like soup sea people. And I land in the night. And then they take me to where I was staying in the hostel. The hostel is near the beach where Kalakshetra Adyar is situated, near the beach. And then in the night, I come in from London with jacket and tie and traveling and all of that. And when I reached there, everybody greeted me nicely. And I see there was a lot of boys from different parts of the world, Australia, Fiji, Singapore.
And they had come to study with you as well?
So I had some people to communicate with. It makes me easy.
Yeah.
And that same night, we're talking and they bring milk for me and they bring bread for me to drink. But I'm now from London to Madras. And you land in the night and don't know where I am. And this place, everything, So it's about 12 o'clock in the night. And I hear, ding, ding. Oh, I hear this bell. So I ask, what sound is that? They tell me it's a dead man passing. I say, what? The dead man, they're going to either cremate it or something, and they pass right by the window. I said, that's it. Because I was young. And I said, look man, I have a job in Trinidad.